Republic. The president is the head of the state, and it is usually elected by the people or parliament. The ruling is managed in the republic according to a constitution that defines the powers of each authority and separates the executive, legislative, and judicial powers. Citizens participate in decision-making through elections and referendums sometimes, and assume transparency and accounting to ensure the integrity. From the advantages of the Republican system, circulation of the power and possibility of its accountant. Democracy. Democracy is a system of government in which citizens participate in decision-making through free elections in which he chooses its representatives, and decisions are taken in accordance with the opinion of the majority. This system guarantees freedom of expression and the right of opposition, and separates the three legislative, executive, and judicial powers, which prevents the monopoly of power. It is considered one of the most extensive systems of human rights, and is successfully applied in countries such as Sweden, Norway, and New Zealand, where transparency and political assignments. Despite its advantages, democracy may suffer from poor stability. We will change governments and slow implementation of plans, in addition to the possibility of voter choices in the media or private interests. Presidential system. In the presidential system, the people elect directly, and he is responsible for the leadership of the state and the government. The president makes decisions and implements laws and does not depend on parliament in everything. This system is characterized by the fact that the ruling is divided into three independent sides. The president implements the laws, parliament puts the laws court. The regime's advantage is that it provides stability because the president completes its duration. Communism. The communist regime depends on the rule of one party with full political and economic power. The government seeks to create a society free of social classes by making the state control the land of land. Money factories. Elections are usually organized by the ruling party. Like China, Cuba, Vietnam. It was the basis for the Soviet Union and often governed by one party without its opponents or real elections. Communist thought sees religion as a tool for control, so the communist systems are separated by religion from the state, as happened in China and the Soviet Union. Parliamentary system. A system of government depends on Parliament in making decisions and forming government. Parliament begins the laws and monitors the government and can withdraw confidence from it and change it if it fails. And Germany is based on the parliamentary system. Monarchy. The royal is a system in which the ruling is in the hands of the king. The ruling is transferred within the same family from one generation to another. There are two types. Absolute property is like Saudi Arabia, where the king owns all powers and control. Constitutional monarchy is like Britain, where the king is a symbol of the state and the actual authority is managed by an elected government. The main disadvantage of the monarchy is that it may deliver special people who are not suitable for judgment only because they are from the ownership family, without taking into account the efficiency or the desire of the people. Socialism. Socialism is an economic and political system in which the state manages resources and production to achieve equality and reduce the gap between the rich and the poor. It aims to provide services. Autocracy. Autocracy is a form of government in which one person exercises absolute political power. This individual usually comes to power through appointment rather than election. Elections are either abolished or reduced to a mere formality, opposition is suppressed, and independent institutions are absent. Governance is used to serve the ruler's interests without accountability, which opens the door to tyranny. Examples include Stalin's rule in the Soviet Union and some military regimes. Federal system. The authority is divided between the government and local governments, such as the states or regions, so that each of its own powers is often used in the large and varied countries to facilitate management and achieve its flexibility in the ruling. For example, the United States, where each state has its laws and its own judicial system in addition to its commitment to the general federal laws. Either its disadvantages include the disparity in the laws and services between the regions and the possibility of conflict between the central and local authorities. Islamic system. The Islamic system is based on the Islamic Sharia, derived from the Quran and Sunnah, and aims to achieve justice and equality and protect rights within a religious and moral framework. The ruler applies the Sharia and consults the scholars of the Shura, while the judiciary is independent and rules the law. The authority is distributed between the ruler and the Shura councils, and the balanced relationship between rights and duties. Constitutional government. The authority of the ruler and the government restricts a clear constitution that guarantees rights and freedoms and regulates the relationship between the three authorities, no one above the law, and all of them adhere to what the Constitution allows. It is characterized by protecting people's rights and prevents tyranny and defect, in difficulty amending laws even if they become inappropriate. An example of this is the United Kingdom, the United States, and Germany. Totalitarianism, a system in which the state or the ruling party imposes its comprehensive control over all aspects of life. There is no opponent and uses advertising and security to confirm the ruling with the monitoring of people and the suppression of any contradictory opinion that depicts, and the leader often as a symbol, does not criticize the North Korea is a clear example, and also the Nazi Germany era, Hitler and the Soviet Union under Stalin. The biggest faults are extreme repression, lack of freedom and violation of human rights, which creates an environment of fear and stagnation. Oligarchy. In the oligarchy system, a small group of wealthy, influential people or military person. The elections are often formal, and institutions use the interests of this elite. It is said that some countries, like the United States, are affected by the strength of the major companies, which makes them closer to this model. The main disadvantage is that the elite may manage the country to serve its interests only, which increases the poverty of class disparity and the monopoly of opportunities. Anarchism. Anarchism is a system that rejects the existence of the government or any central authority, and depends on the fact that people organize their lives in voluntary cooperation and individual responsibilities without the police or official laws. This thought believes in complete freedom and opposes all forms of control, whether from the state, religion, or companies. Societies are managed in it in compliance between individuals, but its application is difficult because it requires a high awareness and collective officials. Despite the intention in achieving freedom, the absence of the law often leads to chaos of violence and governing the powerful.